camera here?
What is up, y'all? We are back with another video. Today we're going to be reviewing The Strangers Chapter 1. You all, if you follow the channel, you know this is one of my most anticipated horror films of 2024. But before we get started, definitely smash the like button because it helps, and also make sure you're subscribed. But you all know how the reviews go. We start off spoiler free and then we end with spoilers. So to get into this film, it takes place with a couple that is going on a road trip for their anniversary and stuff. Is up in the cabins, but the cabins are in a creepy place in Oregon where, you know, citizens of Oregon, they're side-eyeing them, and it's creepy and it's raising, you know, questions. You know, is it the town? Is it the strangers? What's going on? So it all starts with them, you know, just taking a road trip. It's their anniversary. You know how it goes. It kind of, you know, mocks the original Strangers. But when it came to this movie, I really, you know, I enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed it. I'm not going to sit up here and, you know, just say I didn't because everyone else is saying that it's a bad movie. I'm not that type of person. I went in here and I enjoyed this movie. Now, once again, to get into it, I really enjoyed Madeline Pesch's character as Maya, and I enjoyed her boyfriend Ryan's character. As we push forward with this, it definitely, you know, pulls from the original a lot. It's a complete just remake of the original, to be honest. It just has a different environment. It's more modern. You know, it has like a new generation attached to it, and they do a good job at just not ODing on the new generation thing. It still has that early 2000s vibe to it. Like when the film opens, you immediately feels like, you know, it feels like the 2000s, like the early 2000s. It has that look. But I did like how they incorporated the town to be, you know, kind of off also and raise questions. Almost like you're thinking that the town has something to connect with the strangers, you know, almost like Ryan and Maya, they're imposters or something. But pushing forward, they do a good job with The Strangers Chapter 1 with tension. You know, this is not brutal. It's not too gory. It does have some creepy scenes. It's not as eerie as the original Strangers. You know, the original Strangers, that intruder flick was crazy when we got that, you know. But it definitely has its own twist to the Strangers when it comes to, you know, like Dollface, Pinup Girl, and the man. They definitely have their own little twist to it. It's like a creepy eeriness. But pushing forward, I really did enjoy Madeline Pesch as Maya. She had me invested. Even, you know, her boyfriend Ryan, even though sometimes, yes, he said some cheesy stuff. And to push forward, also, it was cliche. It was a cliche moments here and there. And of course, the car, you know, has issues and they have to deal with a creepy mechanic that's a part of the town. But overall, like I said, this movie is not brutal. It does a great job at tension. Like, you know, they study tension in this movie. So when you think something's not going to happen, it happens. Or they're focusing on getting you scared in your seat, on the edge of your seat. And then, bam, that scene just happens and it gets you. It's definitely an on the edge of the seat thriller type of film. Kicking off, you definitely can predict this movie, especially if you're a big fan of the original Strangers, because they use that same formula, you know, with the couples and they're all in love, they're lovebirds, and they're kind of just pushing off the things that's happening around them and not noticing. But like I said, the creepy environment in the town helped a lot of, you know, raising questions. They got a lot of those great callbacks with the music and the record player and stuff like that. Is it the original? I wouldn't say that. But that's not a bad thing. It's its own thing. And one thing I kept telling myself in this movie that some people might forget is that Rennie Harlan is directing all three films. I want to say the second film is supposed to come out later this year and the third comes out early next year. I could be wrong, but I know all three of them have been filmed, which is crazy. So congratulations to Rennie Harlan for pulling this off. But you got to think of it like this. This one's going to be a little light, you know, because it's a trilogy. It's the beginning of a trilogy, and they're picking up the story. They're trying to introduce us to everything and, you know, get everything polished up for the second film and stuff like that, which, I mean, it is risky when you announce something as a trilogy because, you know, people have it in their mind now that it's a trilogy and we're kind of looking through the story, but they do a good job at the end. Of course, it has like that cliffhanger ending because it's a trilogy that kind of gets us prepared for the second one. Now, I'm actually ready for the second Strangers for Chapter 2, just off that crazy cliffhanger. But overall, like I said, it was enjoyable. I did enjoy it. I did have fun with it. And I could kind of see why people are giving it trouble because it definitely replicates the original almost to a T. Like for originality, man, kind of falls short because it's kind of just pulling from the original so much. But I mean, that's what you're getting. They're remaking the original, but giving it a trilogy. Now, I definitely see. I remember in a Bloody Disgusting article, Rennie Harlan said that he was going to start trying to dive into the background of the Strangers. Now, I see it. I definitely see it in this. Where you could kind of see like at times where it's like, oh, he's definitely trying to focus on that, without getting deep into that. But I don't know if that's a good idea for diving extremely deep into the Strangers. I always thought that that mystery of them, almost similar to Michael Myers, is what makes them creepy. But they definitely replicate that. It's Tamara home, that vibe, that Beatty vibe, like come outside type of thing. We're out here standing by the trees. They replicate that for sure. But overall, that's my spoiler-free review of The Strangers Chapter 1. And if you haven't seen The Strangers, you should probably head out because we're about to get into spoilers now. So, spoilers for The Strangers Chapter 1. Basically, like I said, Madeline Pesh is amazing in this movie. I really enjoy her character as Maya, but it takes place with a couple on their anniversary on a road trip in Oregon. And, I really liked how they kind of factor in an Airbnb with this. That was crazy because, nowadays, back in the day, they ain't had Airbnbs. People was just doing like hotels and shit like that. So that's what I mean. When, you say this movie is like generationalized and stuff like that. So the Airbnb definitely played a big part in it. And, the car breaking down and them kind of offering the cabin and all that, taking them there to the cabin and shit. So one thing I do want to say that I peeped, bro, I want to say they're going to actually branch off from those masks, like, Dollface, the pinup girl, because when you see that scene when Maya opens the closet, bro, I think they had like a pig mask, a skull, and I can't remember the other masks. I'm like, oh shit, like I caught that immediately. I'm like, comment down below if you guys caught that. Like, is that what we're going to get in chapter 2? Like those other masks, someone rocking the other mask, another group of, or probably the same one. Do we get 3 other additional strangers to the group? Because it's no reason they just showed those masks hanging up in that Airbnb, like just hanging in the closet, like that is their, Airbnb. Like they've been there plenty of times, you know what I'm saying? Like they're familiar with it, and that's where they kind of hang their stuff up at. Because the town, at a point, I'm not gonna lie, I started kind of trying to match faces to the body, the frames of people we see in The Strangers, like, Dollface, Pinup Girl, especially in Carol's Diner. That chick was like, oh, it's our anniversary. And then you got the waitress. I'm like, oh, shit. I'm hoping that's not the reveal. That's just me trying to jump ahead with this movie. But that's what it seems like Rennie Harlan is going for. Like, almost like, yeah, as soon as you kind of focus on the group of the Strangers, don't forget this creepy-ass town over here. And they're just looking like they hate them. Because, yeah, I definitely, the chick that drove Maya and Ryan up to the cabin, I kind of was scratching my head like, yeah, she look like she can be Dollface or Pinup Girl to her stature and stuff like that, but I can be wrong. It's almost like that's too obvious. But damn, what was wrong with this town? All the hate in their heart. The little kids, the 2 boys that gave them like the Jehovah Witness paper. I'm like, what is going on? Like, I thought this movie was about the Strangers, not the town. But I'm guessing Rennie Harlan is trying to tell a bigger story with this, and I'm invested. At first, I thought I was gonna kind of be like, I don't want to see it. I'm invested, man, just off the fact how he's setting the Strangers up. And I keep telling myself that this is a trilogy. This is not a standalone film. So pushing forward, yeah, man, that kind of got me, asking myself questions when I saw those masks hanging in the closet. Like, ooh, that'll be bad, Rennie Harlan, man. Like pulling away from those, iconic Dollface mask, and things like that, the sack head, and you don't want to pull away from that. And I'm thinking that's what he was kind of handing that in the closet when you saw that. Definitely left off on a cliffhanger. I really enjoyed how Ryan picked things up with Maya. I liked their chemistry. They were bouncing back and forth off of each other. It felt real. It felt honest, and it felt fluid. And I like the survival instinct with them, man. Like, cause that's some shit that I will do. It's a time they're in a basement, y'all. I remember this, and they're in a basement crawling, and fucking Madeline Pesh sticks her hand on the nail, and he's like, shh, like. And then you got Pinup Girl standing over like on some Michael Myers shit. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. Then he's trying to find stuff. He's like, anything's better than nothing, right? I love that. Him with the shotgun. It wasn't like, of course it's a horror movie. And, don't get me wrong. They were clumsy as fuck. Maya and Ryan, they were falling all over the place, but they were terrified. But it wasn't like, of course they did that. They were really trying, bro. It was at a point where fucking Ryan's leg is stuck in the truck, and he maneuvers out of that through the windshield. shield. You know what I'm saying? I like the realness of it. It felt real. It didn't feel like you couldn't predict their moves when they were running from the strangers or they were injured. It was almost like, damn, they thought of that. Or, you know, it was a point, he got a shaving razor out the fucking medicine cabinet. That just felt real. You know what I'm saying? I liked how it was a lot of build up with the strangers. It wasn't like an immediate buzz down the door. It was like, hey, is Tamara home a few times? The lights cut off, and then they kind of invade, and they're kind of being real comedy and just jump to brutality. It was just like them kind of building up to things. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. I see why people probably could say that, yeah, they enjoy it, but me, I'm open-minded with, you know, this being a trilogy. I want to see the other two films, you know, especially when me watching the Halloween trilogy. You just got to understand this is a trilogy. And I liked it, man. I know maybe I'll be on a boat by myself, but I'll take it, you know. I'll take it. I can't help that I like the film. Rennie Harlan did a great job. I can't wait to see the other two films you did. Was it brutal? No. For originality, very low, because like I said, they were pulling from the original, but they just put their own twist and spin on it. But they did a good job at it. They didn't bomb it. They didn't mess it up. It was fluid. You couldn't even notice it for real, because it felt so new and modern to the horror fans, you know, especially me. I was like, damn, this was good for real, man. I walked out with a smile on my face. So overall, for blood and gore, I'm going to give this a 5 out of 10. For blood and gore, a 5 out of 10. For like the originality, like the story, I'm going to go 4 out of 10. And for the overall film in general, I'm going to go 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 is solid for me with The Strangers Chapter 1. So definitely, guys, comment down below. How do you feel about The Strangers Chapter 1? And are you looking forward to the next two films? I know I am. Unfortunately, this is the end of the video. I want you all to hit me on my social media. I like Scary on Instagram. I like Scary _ on TikTok. Brandon on Facebook. I like Scary on Twitter. And yeah, you all right there where it says subscribe. Next to it, click join and become a member of the channel. And yeah, you all right there where it says subscribe. Next to it, click join and become a member of the channel. I will see you all in the next one. Peace, y'all. Stay scary.